Okay, bonjour. Today's lesson is about noun gender, talking about masculine and feminine words. Let's start by just going over these words one more time. Sorry if it's a little bit blurry. So, les mathématiques. This can be shortened to les maths, but it needs an S at the end. Les maths. Right? Les arts plastiques. Les sciences, la chorale, l'éducation physique et sportive, also called EPS, l'histoire, l'informatique, la musique, l'anglais, le déjeuner. Un cahier, une calculatrice, un classeur, un crayon, des feuilles de papier, une gomme, un livre, une règle, un sac à dos, un stylo, une trousse, un dictionnaire, un ordinateur, un roman. Blanc, blanche, bleu, gris, grise, jaune, marron, noir, orange, rose, rouge, vert, verte, violet, violette. All right, as we start talking about the gender of nouns, these are just some facts of life. I call them the French facts of life that you just have to accept. That's what it comes down to. So number one, all nouns carry a gender. Okay, all nouns are either masculine or feminine. Number two, memorizing a noun also means memorizing its gender. Okay, if you can spell the word, that's fantastic, but if you don't know whether that word is masculine or feminine, then it's not going to help you much. Okay, number three, the gender of a noun will not always make sense, but there are some patterns to help you. Okay, so maybe it doesn't make sense to you that the word for an eraser is feminine, but a notebook is masculine. These things are it's just what it is. So as we talk about gender in nouns, there is just a grammatical kind of word that you need to be able to know what it is and recognize while we're talking about it in class. So that word is article. So in grammar, an article is a word used with a noun that tells us some information about the noun, like the gender and the number. So the article tells us, is the word masculine? Is it feminine? Are we talking about more than one something? Okay. And here we have a chart of the articles that we're going to use with our vocab. Okay, so here, these are all articles. These words tell us whether something is masculine, feminine, or plural. Okay? And here we have these two columns. This column, these words all mean the. All right? And these words mean a, with the plural meaning some. Okay? So, in the masculine, le or un. Feminine, la or une. Plural, les or des. And then in this column, we have one special word. If the noun starts with a vowel sound, we're going to use an L apostrophe, okay? And we don't have that instance with this category. It stays the same. Okay, so I'm going to flash up the vocab words that we had at the beginning of the lesson. Okay, because now you can tell based on the word before the very first word, whether the word after it, the noun, is masculine, feminine, or plural. Okay? Now, un cahier, we know, is masculine because it has un. Une calculatrice, feminine, masculine, masculine. Okay? Now here, number 15, we have they. We know that it's plural. Okay? Now, even though it's plural, it still carries a gender, and I forgot to put this on your vocab list. It is, in fact, feminine. So on your vocab list, I should have put a little F there. Okay? Even though it's plural, it still carries a gender because all nouns carry a gender. All right, let's continue. Une gomme, feminine. Un livre. Une règle. Un sac à dos. Un stylo. Une trousse. Un dictionnaire. Un ordinateur. Un roman. Okay, so part of your job of memorizing these vocab words is memorizing which words are masculine and which words are feminine. Okay, now we can see right here on this short list, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words that are feminine. Okay, and then the others are all masculine. So it might be easiest for you to memorize the specific words that are feminine. Okay, so the previous slide was all un, une, and des, talking about a or some. Now we're talking about the. Okay, we have all le, la, and les. You can see right here. Okay, now les mathématiques. I forgot to put it on your vocab list, but it is a feminine word. However, it's a word that you're only ever going to see as plural. But if you're describing it, you might want to know that it's feminine. So we'll make a feminine mark next to that. Okay. Les arts plastiques, masculine, but again, always plural. Les sciences, feminine, also always plural. Okay. La chorale, l'éducation physique et sportive, l'histoire. Now here we have an L apostrophe because the H is always silent in French, and so it is in fact a vowel sound because we don't say histoire, we say histoire. Okay, so we're talking about history, l'histoire, L apostrophe. Now with the L apostrophe, it starts with a vowel sound. It doesn't tell us whether it's masculine or feminine. That's just something you have to memorize. Okay. Same thing with l'informatique. Okay, then we have la musique, l'anglais, and le déjeuner. All right. Now, to us, when we're talking about classes, we don't say the math and the English. It sounds really weird to us. But in French, they have to include the article. Okay, it's not an option, right? Now, you will see in another lesson certain times when they're going to take out the article, but I want you to get used to seeing the article before the noun. In most cases, it's there. Here you might notice that there is no le, la, or les, or un, une, or des before these words. The reason for that is these are all adjectives. Colors describe nouns, they're adjectives. So you're not going to see an article directly before the adjective. All right, so let's get to actually describing. We can describe some school supplies. We can say what color they are. Okay, so remember to describe objects just like we described people. In the last unit, we're going to start with the verb être, to be. And then we always need to make sure that the adjective agrees with the noun it's describing. All right, if we're describing an eraser, okay, the adjective needs to be feminine because eraser is feminine. So let's look at some examples. All right, so let's describe a little bit. So we're talking about le cahier. Le cahier is a notebook, okay, like a spiral notebook. And we know that it is masculine because of the le, right? So le cahier est noir. The notebook is black, all right? And note, we have the masculine singular of the word black, noir. Okay? Now, all these items that we're talking about, they're all black, okay? So, la trousse est noire. Notice that noir changed. And the reason for its change is trousse is feminine, and we know this because it says la, okay? And we've added an E, because now we're describing la trousse. Okay? Next, we have les ordinateurs, computers. The computers sont noirs. Les ordinateurs sont noirs. Okay? So we know that we're talking about something that's plural, and we know this for two reasons. One is that we're using les, the plural article. The other is that we've made ordinateur plural by adding an S. All right? Now, just by looking at les ordinateurs, we can't say for sure whether it's masculine or feminine. This is something that we would have to have memorized, okay? The word is in fact masculine, so we add an S to the end of noir to make it plural. Okay? Lastly, les calculatrices sont noires. Okay? We know that it's plural because of les and also because of the S at the end of calculatrice. Now, we have to memorize that calculatrice is feminine. However, it does give us a little clue. Now, not all words, but most words in French that end in an E are feminine, and this holds true for calculatrice. It ends in an E, and it is in fact feminine. Okay, keep in mind that this isn't always the case. You still have to memorize the gender of each noun, but if you forget, if you can't quite remember, that trick might be able to save you. Okay, so we've added ES to the end of noir because we're describing something that is both feminine and plural. All right, now two of the colors are very special. So the colors orange and marron, orange and brown, never, ever, ever agree with the noun they are describing. They are called invariable adjectives. Okay, they're invariable, meaning they do not change. There's no variation. Okay, invariable. Now, if you're interested, you don't really need to know this, but if you're interested, the reason why orange and marron don't change is that these words were actually nouns before they were adjectives. So orange is also the word for an orange that you eat, and marron is a chestnut. Okay, so they came from the noun to describe a color. Anyway, that's just a little tidbit of information if you're curious. All right, here I've provided you with some examples. So in each sentence here, we're either using the word for brown, marron, or orange, orange. All right, so la feuille de papier, a feminine word, feuille de papier, est marron. Okay, la feuille de papier is feminine. Marron doesn't change. Same in the masculine, same in the feminine, right? Let's look at the sentence and second sentence. Now we have les feuilles de papier sont marron. Okay, now we've changed it to more than one piece of paper. We've made it plural. And still, marron does not change. It's not a typo. There is no S at the end. Whether it's masculine, feminine, plural, doesn't matter. Marron stays the same. Same thing with orange. Le sac à dos est orange. The backpack is orange. Les sacs à dos sont orange. The backpacks, more than one, are orange. No S at the end, even though it's plural. Okay? Orange and marron, those are the two big colors that really don't change. There are a few other really specific colors, like aubergine, which means eggplant, but we're really not going to cover them at all. So orange and marron are the two invariable adjectives that you need to pay attention to. Okay, that is where I'm going to leave you. I'm going to wish you bonne chance. And I will see you next time.